Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Charlton Chronicles. I am back tonight. I'm not my best self. I do have man flu, and but I didn't want Tyler to get a big head and keep getting complimented on his hosting. So I thought I'd make a comeback. Lucky you can't see all of me. Well, I don't know how much of me you can see, but I'm in my Christmas fleecy pajamas, so I really am an absolute disaster tonight. So as you can see, we are joined by Paul, Stephen Sid, the lovely Tyler, and the lovely Tom. So, Paul, I'll start with you. How are you, mate? Have you enjoyed the international break?
I have actually, yeah. I was about to say I'm looking forward to getting back to the Valley, but of course I was actually there on Sunday for the women's game, which was really entertaining. No, unlucky to lose, but I will be raring to go for Saturday. Really looking forward to it. Hopefully get 3 points on the board.
Yeah, and Stephen Sid, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks, Emma. Been starved of our football, haven't we? So yeah, absolutely buzzing for Saturday. Looks like it's going to be a big crowd. Can't wait to be back.
Good, good. Tyler, how are you?
Yeah, good. Glad to be back as just on the regular panel rather than hosting duties. Glad to give you services back. Yeah, same as everyone else. Looking forward to get back down the Valley. Good that England qualified for the World Cup last night, and yeah, bring on Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, well, I would say that I enjoyed watching the England game last night, but I sat in the armchair and I've bought this new footstool from work. You know, the perks of now running a charity shop. I just bring home loads of stuff I don't need. And I had my feet up with my England blanket, and next thing I know, I woke up and Adam went, "Who got man of the match?" I went, "I don't know, I've been asleep." So I completely missed every single bit of the game, but never mind. Tom, finally, how are you?
I'm all good. Obviously, I was also down at the Valley on Sunday. Paul, we did not lose. We drew, unfortunately. Obviously, Jodie Hutton scoring an absolute screamer of a free kick. It is what she does. Yeah, obviously, it'll be nice to be back down with a packed out Valley as well. Nice to get back into league action, I'd say, as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, and big up to the ladies as well, because they are unbeaten so far this season. So big up the Charlton ladies. So we'll say good evening to some people in the chat. So Tracy's first in. Good evening. Glenny Boy is in there. Good evening to Alan. Good evening to Jack. Good evening to Chris. Good evening to Tommy. Good evening to Mark, who said it's been a long 2 weeks, but we finally got our football back. And he's also said, welcome back, Emma. Thank you very much. Tommy has said, nice to see the gang all back. And good evening to Jack's Life. So we won't be a long show tonight because we're literally just going to preview the game on Saturday. But Tyler, I'm going to come to you first because I want to talk about the situation really that what's going on at Sheffield Wednesday, and just kind of wanted to gauge your opinion on it, really, because you know we've been kind of in this situation where we think we might have lost our club, you know, a few times, and what's going on with them is horrific, and it's a real shame to see such a fantastic, you know, historic football club in the situation that they're in.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. We've been through it, but I don't think Sheffield Wednesday have. They've been through it a lot more worse than we have, and it's been going on for years now as well. I'm surprised Chansiri's still there, to be honest, and how he's been allowed to continue running that football club as a joke, to be honest. I remember they had this a few years ago when they was last in League One, when they got relegated from the Championship. I remember the problems kicking off then. I mean, they were bad then, but I don't remember it being as bad as it is now. You know, staff not getting paid on time. I think, 5 months now? For 5 separate incidents now, which is an absolute joke. I think they're very likely to get a points deduction from what I'm hearing, which is again devastating for them. And you know they've barely put a squad together for this season. But you know I've got a lot of respect for Sheffield Wednesday because, as you said, that's a massive club. You know, a massive fan base, massive historic football club, and deserve a lot better than what they're going through right now. But it just seems like it's just a never-ending story when it comes to Chansiri. I mean, you know exactly what kind of bloke he is when he's put his name massive coloured in the seats in the name of his stand, which is just an absolute just shows exactly what kind of bloke he is. But yeah, I have a lot of respect for Sheffield Wednesday and the fans that what they've had to put through is an absolute joke. And I hope that they can find a way out of it, and I hope that Chansiri is eventually turfed away. But it just sounds like, you know, the situation we had with the Châtelet a few years ago where the asking price is just too high. You know, he wants to make the money back that he's lost from running the football club, which is his own fault, because football is you're going to lose money when you're running a football club. That's just a reality. It's very rare when you make a profit from football nowadays, but he's just made an absolute mess of it, and he needs to go. It's as simple as that, for the sake of that club, because if this continues any longer, I mean, ultimately, this is people's livelihoods at stake here now. Like, it's getting that bad. So I think it'll be a good atmosphere on Saturday between the two fans. I think we, as I said, Charlton fans can relate to, ownership struggles in the past, but they're going through hell right now. So hopefully they can get through it. And yeah, as I said, that should never happen to any football club, especially for a club that size.
Yeah, and Paul, I think, we have to give real credit to players like Barry Bannon, especially, who let's not beat around the bush.
Not Barry, to a degree.
Maybe some others. Yeah, no.
Yeah, but who, he's not really a fan favourite, but I have to give the guy credit, because he probably could have gone off and played his football somewhere else. And, he's still leading that team with his dodgy hairline. Let it go, Bazza, let it go. But he's still leading that team. He signed a new contract, and I'd be proud as a Sheffield Wednesday fan to have someone at the helm of my club in the situation they're in, to have a player like that who's so dedicated to the club, and what an inspiration he must be for the younger players at that club as well.
Yeah, well, in all seriousness, I mean, he's been the heartbeat of that club for some years now, and as you say, he's led by example. Other players have left. They hadn't been paid for months, so they were quite eligible to leave if they wanted. Some did. Obviously, Josh Windass being probably the most notable of them. He's gone to Wrexham, of course. But yeah, absolutely, he could have deserted the sinking ship. I mean, going back to the owner, Chancellor Erie, whatever his name is, it reminds me a lot of the now ex-Reading owner, who seemed to do quite a lot towards the end out of spite. Chancellor Erie put a lot of money in early on for probably the first 2 or 3 years. They got to the playoffs, I think, 2 years running. Didn't quite make it, and I think after a while, it's become a burden. And it's just awful the way. I'm obviously concerned about the players' livelihoods and families, but obviously it's the people that work at the club, isn't it? It's those cleaners and people that work in the canteen and all that sort of thing. And it's that sort of, exactly, Mark, quite right. And it's those people. He has no sort of empathy. He's going off to Venice and all this stuff, lording it up and paying, no doubt, to stay in the flashiest hotels and eat in the best restaurants. Meanwhile, you've got people who haven't been paid for, as kind of said, months and months. So you need a figurehead, you need a talisman, and Barry Bannon's obviously like that. He's diminutive in stature, but in terms of heart and commitment, he's a towering figure. Even though it kind of pains me to say it, given the history. But as I say, they are in a state in terms of where they are on the football pitch. They obviously won away against Portsmouth, which was a good victory. They're coming off a tonking against Coventry, but of course we know what happened to the last team that got tonked by Coventry. And what happened next game. So, but as I say, going back to what you said, Barry Bannon, obviously a top man, and as you say, some of not only the young players can look up to, but the fans. I mean, they obviously worship the guy, and good luck to him.
Yeah, I'll obviously go through their results. So they're sitting in 23rd. It's a Sheffield City bottom two, unfortunately. But also, I'll say unfortunately, I don't really care for Sheffield United. But so they've played 9, won 1, drawn 3, lost 5. So their last results, obviously, they lost 5-0 to Coventry. They drew 2-2 with Birmingham, drew 1-1 with QPR, beat Pompey, lost massively to Bristol City, lost to Swansea, drew with Wrexham, lost quite a big loss to Stoke, and then lost to Leicester. So there are actually some results there, against teams that we struggled with. So say QPR, drawing with QPR, who, battered us really. So Stephen said, I'll come to you. What do you think is going to be more important for them this season? Is it going to be survival or still having a club at the end of the season?
It's a poison chalice, really, isn't it? Ultimately, survival will probably dictate what goes on with the club in regards to the sale of it, etc., etc. But I mean, ultimately, you don't want to see a club of that size get into any trouble where we're talking about someone like Bury or someone like that. Hopefully, it won't come to that and it will sort itself out. But I mean, in the short term, their survival has to be the focus this season. But are you going to survive in the Championship if you're getting internally ripped to pieces on a sort of weekly, monthly basis? Tyler mentioned the fact that the payments haven't been made and stuff like that to the staff. If there's more points dropped, it might get to a scenario where both of the things work hand in hand. They get a deduction of points, which then takes them out of the equation, which means they're just playing for pride at the end of the season, or then playing for survival. But yeah, it's a sad state of affairs. You wouldn't want to be one of their fans at the moment. It must be a hard thing to watch, to listen to, and to go through on a weekly basis. But yeah, there's too many owners like this, and I think someone's mentioned in there, Mark rightly said, the EFL have let that club down, and the supporters down, and the staff down. So yeah, it's going to be a tough season for them, I think.
Yeah, before we move on to like score predictions and lineups, someone's brought up in the chat that we need to talk about the big screen. I'm not sure if big is the correct word for that screen, but I'd say it's a wide screen. So obviously, Tom and Paul, you both saw it on Sunday. So Tom, I'll come to you. Give us your opinions of the widescreen TV.
It's not as bad in person as I saw on the picture originally. It for me, it looks better from the West Stand because it kind of just fits perfectly in the corner bit. It does look more professional, if you ask me, because we've gone from a tiny screen to something which is ginormous, and if they are going to keep it, they need to fix whatever's behind it, because it is an absolute mess. That's the only thing I'll say. Obviously, we saw throughout the game how it was going to be laid out. Obviously, I think the lineups in the middle, the scores on the right side, and then whatever else is on the left. So it looks all right. For me, as I say, obviously, I mean, we must be doing something well if fans are now complaining about a screen and not the football on the pitch. Put it that way, because I mean, it just proves the owners are trying to do something with this club as well. Because I think it's been a long time coming that we've been needing something. Because obviously we could hardly see the screen half the time in a North Stand. But yeah, I personally like it. And that might be unpopular, but yeah, it is a lot better. I think it will grow on a lot of fans. And from the angle, I would say it actually doesn't hang over the away end bit, which it looked like in the photo. But yeah, for me, it looks it looks all right. It is a lot bigger, put it that way, but it'll take some getting used to.
Yeah, and Paul, obviously you was there as well, so I've asked you. My initial thoughts when I saw it is it's a lot smaller than what I was expecting. I couldn't read the names on the old screen, so I stand no chance with the new one. Lucky I know who wears what shirt number. And it's not in the centre. It looks really off centre, and it looks more to one side. I just think for me it's not really an improvement. But that's my opinion. What do you really think?
Well, where I was sitting, I had quite a good angle because I was just, if you imagine, I was in Block F of the West Stand, so I was just beyond the away dugouts, so I had a really nice angle. So from there, it looked great, and it was all very clear and sharp. How it will look from where we sit in the cover end is another matter, to be honest with you. We'll be right down the other end of the pitch, and I mean, to my mind, it's obviously it should be sort of higher or taller or whatever. It's quite a thin screen, isn't it? Rather than so I'll be interested to see how, as I say, the lineups look from where we are. I mean, one thing they did when Jody scored a goal, they must have a load of like permutations for the goal, because it was like goal flash, goal this, goal that, different colours. You know what I mean? It's like it was yeah. So they've obviously they were going through all their permutations. So as I say, it looked sharp from where we were, but as I say, I was virtually opposite it. Down the other end, it might be a different matter, really, but I'll give it a go. It will certainly be sharper because obviously the other one was kind of 2D. This is a bit sort of 4K or whatever, I think, in comparison. So we'll see how it goes. The jury's out, should we say?
Yeah, and Steve has asked in the chat, do the goal replays look good?
I didn't see because I was celebrating Jody's free kick.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was they used the whole of the screen for the replay,
Yeah.
like they did with the old one. So I don't know. As I say, it seems a lot sharper, a lot more sort of high tech. But, sorry.
We also have a new fish as well.
Yeah,
That's one thing I did.
Alan has asked, does the fish look good?
It does actually. To be fair.
It goes up off the screen and then comes back down, and then it goes a few times. I'll say that, but it is improved. I'll say that much.
So there you go. At least if we're rubbish on the pitch, we've got a good fish.
Yeah, but
what more could we want?
I don't tend to look at the screen anyway until like the last 10 minutes if we're 1-0 up or something anyway. Or if we make a sub, but I don't tend to look at the screen anyway during the game. So I mean, me, I'm not too bothered. As long as I can read the lineups, I am more than happy.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So we'll move on to our lineups for Saturday's game. Obviously, I didn't make Preston, unfortunately, but I had a lovely day out in London instead, which I think was probably the better idea. I made it. I can't remember where I made it, but I made it up north somewhere and then just came back. Nuneaton, I think I made it to, and then we just got turned around and come back. I had a lovely day trip on Avanti. So Tyler, I'll come to you first. What do you want to see from the lineup on Saturday?
Right, tough one. I think after that Preston game, I think for me, properly first time this season where we got played off the park in all counts, really. The main concern for me is the forward line again. I mean, we've said it several times. I mean, after this international break now, I think it's clear that something needs to change going forward. We need to start scoring more goals. We need to start creating more chances, and the strike force actually needs to work well together. I'd like the way that I think Kelman is playing well. I just think he's lacking a strike partner, but I don't know. I think I would probably go with the two strikers that actually have looked like they can half play well together, and that's Lee Byrne and Tanto. So I'd like to see that. It probably won't happen, as we know. It'll be Kelman and TC, but what I'd like to see is obviously, Tanto and Lee Byrne starting up top. It wouldn't change the midfield three. I think all three of them are playing brilliantly at the moment. Been excellent. Obviously, Coventry getting a deserved call up to the Ireland squad as well. So congratulations to him for that. And then the defence is a contentious one, I think, in terms of who we could play on that side, because I don't think Bell can really do as good of a job at wing back anymore as he can do at left centre back. But then obviously Gillespie's been playing more as well, so that's a headache. What I'd like to see personally, I'd like to see Bell go back to left centre half with Jones, and I'd probably go Burke because I think Ramsey's been off it the last couple of games. So I'd like to see him come out and try and work his way back in, and then wing backs Bree, and I'd like to see Robbie Apter come back in and try and start him on the left and give us a bit more of a creative outlet in the wing back area, which is what we would have had if Edwards was there. And then obviously Kaminsky in goal. That's obviously what I'd like to see, something a bit different, to give us a bit more creativity and something, as I say, just something a bit different and giving it a go going forward, because nothing seems to be working going forward at the moment in terms of the strike force. But we know Jones, we know he's stubborn with the lineup, and obviously he gets paid to make these decisions, and obviously we've got to back that decision because obviously at the end of the day he puts the team out and he gets judged for that. But I don't see how we can continue with the way that TC and Kelman are working together, because they just don't work together. And TC, for me, especially after international break with Jamaica, the kid is playing too many games, he's getting overworked. Rest the kid. At least rest him before he breaks down. So, yeah, and we need changes for me, and that's what I'd go with. But we know that there probably won't be any changes.
Yeah, and you mentioning Rob Apter there, it's something I actually wanted to bring up, because I'm going to come to you, Stephen Sid, because if we remember back to August, Rob Apter got Player of the Month, and then he's just dropped from the squad, well, not from the squad, but from the team, the starting 11 completely. And I was a bit bemused by that. I can understand why the change was implemented for the Sheffield United game, but it was Sheffield United, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Sheffield United. After that, I can't see why he's not getting back in the squad. Are you a little bit frustrated by that? Because I feel we create more with him on the pitch. I feel that he offers more as a wide man than Tyrese does. in the games that he's played, he's got a goal, he's got assists. You know, we look to get forward more, in my opinion, when he plays. He consistently looks to get crosses in the box again. And I don't see that from TC, unfortunately. So what's your thoughts around that Rob Apter situation?
I just think it's unfortunate for Rob because obviously he's kind of been dropped for no reason, and he does produce a lot more on the pitch than TC does anyways, and we all know that. So I do think that he should be able to get a chance to get back into the side. Otherwise, it's not fair on him, especially after winning the Player of the Month in August. It does kind of shock me how he got dropped so quickly and kind of hasn't been able to get back in.
Yeah, and Steve, I think, how do you sort of, when you see the link up between him and Sonny, they work so well together? Is it frustrating for you to sit there as a supporter and, you know, we're crying out for creativity, like Tyler has said there. We you know, we're not scoring goals. They're not really coming. And, you know, I think our top scorer is James Bree, which is ridiculous. So you know, it should be our strikers all day long. So for me, we're leaving probably one of our most creative players on the bench. It doesn't sit well with me at the moment, and I'm just finding it a little bit bemusing. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that showed in a lot of the game at Preston, to be honest with you, especially in the first half. Carey was buzzing around like he normally does. And I think he does a lot of his work off the sort of central right-hand side. And normally, if Apter's there, they kind of play together like they don't need to even open their eyes. They just seem to know where each other are. It's definitely taken a bit of a hit in regards to our creativity. He does cut in a lot, and he puts a nice sort of curling ball into the box, which gives the guys a chance. But yeah, I think his confidence has been fantastic. He works hard. He obviously doesn't give as much defensively as a few players you could potentially mention that are in his position at the moment. But it begs the question about what might be going on behind the scenes. Has anything happened here? Has there been words said? Has his work rate been questioned? Has anything been questioned? Have they just got the hump with each other? There's got to be a reason, but what that is, we may never know. But yeah, I don't know. It just feels like we potentially are missing something going forward now. A bit of creativity, and as you say, rightly so, he works so well with Carey.
Yeah, and I think Stuart has put in the chat, I think Apter's absence is more to do with Bree's success. I would agree, absolutely. But I think for me, Bree is fantastic, and I'm not doubting that. I do think James Bree is a superb player. But I think what's happened to Rob Apter is very unfair, in my opinion. And the way he's just been dropped out nowhere, and he's not even getting chances off the subs bench now either. And we seem to be, we're very readable. Like, I think that's the word I'm trying to think of.
Yeah.
But you know, our subs are always the same. You know, it's always right. We'll chuck the Leeburn on, and then we'll take Sonny. It's every game. You can just tell what subs are going to happen. Tom, I'll come to you because obviously, look, you're a TC boy. You love your Tyrese Campbell, but even as a TC fan, is it frustrating you now that he's not producing? And you know, people can say yes, he gets us up the pitch. But is it enough to warrant his? And I want you to be completely honest. I know you're a big fan, but is he now not warranting his place in that starting 11?
I mean, I think, as Tyler said, he's been overplayed a lot. Because I think apart from maybe a couple games last season, I think he started pretty much every single game of Nathan Jones's kind of era at Charlton, which is quite mad to think. But Jones obviously trusts him, as we know. But I mean, yeah, I mean, for me, I think we've said too many times on this pod. Bring him on last 30, let him run. I think he'll be better as an impact sub in this league, especially. He can start a few games. Like there's a few games that'll probably suit him better than some. But yeah, for me, I would like to see Tanto and Kelman up front on Saturday. because I just feel like I know I think they've had maybe one chance together, and that was against Cambridge, and obviously that was a horrible game. But yeah, I love TC. Obviously he does get us up the pitch. He does bring a lot of work ethic. He'll try hard as more than a lot of people on the pitch anyway. But yeah, I think we've kind of known for a while now that no matter what we say or do, Jones is going to pick the same front two every single week. I obviously I like Jones. I trust Jones. But yeah, for me, Saturday he needs to be rested purely because as well he's played a lot for Jamaica this window as well. I mean, apparently he's played all right for them as well. But yeah, he's been overplayed too much. I think he's 22 years old and playing this amount of football is gonna it's gonna tire him out, and he's gonna start picking up injuries, and then it's gonna cost us halfway down the line probably. But yeah, for me, I love him, but he needs to be rested or obviously not dropped from the team fully, but it is annoying because I feel like his confidence is getting hit a little bit as well, and obviously we know what that does for him as well. But yeah, I mean, I mean, on Saturday, as I say, I'd have Tanto up there, and then bring him on last the 2030.
Yeah, and Paul, I'll come to you. Look, we've all said numerous times on here, you know, it needs to be Tanto time. My Tanto scarf is on the bed now. Sorry, Chucks, I removed you. But I think as well, we say about TC and his confidence, but you know, I've slightly seen an improvement in Charlie's performances, you know, and he, you know, Derby away, he done a massive, his touch for Bree's goal at Derby was outstanding, and you know, I think we need to get him scoring. So, you know, who do you partner? Him with. For me, it has to be Tanto. Tanto looks our most dangerous striker, and is he the one who you'd put with Kelman to get him scoring?
Yeah, absolutely. I know Tom and you had mentioned that. Yeah, certainly Tanto would be the one. I keep Charlie. I think, as you say, there's been sort of green shoots over the last few weeks. That touch at Derby, as you said, was stellar. Really, just showed what ability he's got. I know a lot of people think he's the sky's the limit for him. He's an excellent striker when he gets so it's just he's building himself in. I think he's under a bit of pressure. I think, as with the fee. I think I've said that before more than once, but he's starting to go into it. And I think with Tanto probably creating space for him, that would probably be the best matchup. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I like TC as well. I've said that many times on this pod, but I guess the point is that TC is in a very influential position on the pitch. But what influence does he exert? He's had some decent games, but he does tend to flit in and out. He works hard, as we've said, which is kind of a prerequisite, isn't it, really? If you put the Charlton shirt on, you expect that. Obviously, Nathan likes him, but I'm not sure. He's there to provide assists. He's there to chip in with the occasional goal, I suppose. He hasn't done anything either, has he, really? Let's be honest. He crossed for the... he had a sort of pre-assist, if you like, for the Bree goal at Derby. But other than that, I think his sort of influence at the top of the pitch is probably saying he's anonymous is probably a bit harsh. But, as I say, he needs to show more. And I think it's probably his time, as Tom said, perhaps give him a rest. He has been jet setting around the world. He's been playing, and it must take a toll on the. He's young and fit, but it must take a toll on his body. So I think leaving him on the bench and maybe having him as that impact sub when the opposition defenders are tiring is possibly the way to go. Sort of 65, 70 minutes. But yeah, I'd certainly go for Charlie and Tanto. But as you've all said, I think we know where that's going. So we can hope, we can wish, we can dream, but the reality is going to be probably quite different.
Yeah, and obviously we've got straight after Sheffield Wednesday, we then have the dreaded Ipswich away game, 10-0 in 2 seasons. I am literally in the front section Tuesday night, and
I'll be
if
there
it's
as
that
well.
bad, I might just put my hood up and just go to sleep, to be honest, if it gets that bad, or just ask to get back on the coach and, just not watch. So if you have been to Ipswich the last 2 seasons, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, because it's been horrendous, and Ipswich are a great team, so I think it would be really good to go into Saturday and get a win, because Ipswich is going to be massively tough on Tuesday night. So we'll go into our score predictions. So Sid and Steve, I'll come to you first, and obviously guys, drop them in the chat as well. Let us know what your thoughts are ahead of the game on Saturday.
I'm going to go with a 2-0 win on Saturday. I think Kelman's going to open his account. And I think Tanto might add one as well. So, yeah, positive 2-0 win.
Good. And Sid?
I'm going to go 3-0 win with Tanto and Miles to score, because they're who I want to see up front.
Oh, I like it. You're being different. Tom, I'll come to you next.
I'm going to go for a 2-1. I don't think Sheffield Wednesday are going to be a walkover. I think they're going to be up for it. Bannon, as we know, will probably do something for them and we celebrate in front of us. Sonny will get a goal. And Lloyd Jones header, why not?
Yeah, love that. Paul, I'll come to you.
Yeah, before Steve spoke, I was going to say Tanto and Charlie 2-0, honest, Gov. That's how I'll go for that.
Yeah, and Tyler?
The fact that Wednesday are coming off a hiding from Coventry makes me worried, considering what happened with the QPR game. But I think home crowd back from the international break. I'll go 2-1. It's been a running theme now where I'm backing Kelman to break his duck, and I'm going to do it again. It's got to happen. So yeah, Kelman to score, and I fancy Doc to nick one as well. He's been getting forward a lot last few games, and he's been having a few shots. So yeah, I'll go Kelman, Doc 2-1.
Yeah, do you know what? I was actually going to say Doc to score. I'm also going to go for a 2-0. I'm fancying a Doc, and I've got to back my boy. It's Tanto time. So Doc and Tanto for me. So I'll read some out from the chat. Matthew has just said, have faith, Emma. I'm going Ipswich on the coach. I will see you on there if you're on coach 1. And defensively, we're far stronger, so I don't think it'll be as bad as before. Well, it won't, because Macaulay Bond might be going around clapping the Ipswich fans, like he did before. So Alan has gone for a 3-0 to Charlton. Mark has gone for 2-0. Leeburn and Tanto. Steve's gone for a 3-0. Tommy's gone for a 2-0 Kelman and Doc. David's gone for a 1-0 Kelman. Stuart's gone Charlton win, don't care about the score. Yeah, we like that.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Matthew's gone for a 3-1. Macabre, Carey, Bannon for them. Mark has just said this is really where Kelman needs to perform. There's no excuse against this side. We say that, but teams that are always at a low point, like QPR, will always come out and battle harder. So
That's against the wall. Yeah.
exactly. I'm going to call an end to tonight's poll because I'm absolutely knackered and I don't feel well. So before I do go, I just want to give, I'm sure you guys know my friends Jade and Danny, the twins. Now, Jade earlier this year was diagnosed with breast cancer, which, thank God she beat. She's now in remission from breast cancer, which is incredible. But she's currently walking 100 miles for breast cancer and raising money. And her and her sister Danny are going to be walking from Medway on Saturday to the Valley to raise more money. And they will be finishing their 100 miles at the Valley on Saturday. So if you're there, please give them a cheer I don't know roughly what time it's going to be, but please give them a cheer if you see them. What that girl has overcome in the last year is nothing short of incredible. She inspires me every day, and I'm so proud of her for what she's doing. So if you can head over to her Instagram or Facebook, it's Jade Hanan, and go and sponsor the girls because they really do deserve it, and it's an incredible charity as well. So they're massive Charlton fans, so go and give them some support and your love, as I know you will. So big thanks to Paul, to Stephen Sid, to Tyler and to Tom, and we will be back on Sunday to talk about Sheffield Wednesday and obviously to preview Ipswich on Tuesday, and hopefully we'll look and sound a little bit better. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
In a bit.
See you later, guys.
That's all.